Figure it out.
Hello, this is Adam Koralik with Figure It Out Productions. The following video is part of our Quick Shoot series.
Hey guys, it's Adam here, and welcome to PlayLoad. This is all my video game pickups for the month of July 2015. And a little disclaimer before we begin this one. At the time you're seeing this, it's August 1st, 2015, at least if you're watching this the day it came out. But I've actually filmed this on July 21st, 2015. And the reason for that is, surprise, I'm in Europe. If you guys saw one of my other videos about that, then you'd already know that. But if you don't, yeah, I'm in Europe currently. So I had to film this before I left, which means a couple of things. One, because I knew I was going, I spent a lot less money this month, so I didn't get that many pickups. Two, I had much less time to get pickups. And three, I also kind of cheaped out because of the Shenmue Kickstarter. I just didn't pick up that much stuff. But nevertheless, I did get some things, and I wanted to show you what they were. So the first batch of stuff here is 3 brand new Atari Jaguar CD games called Yopaz, Ice Star, Philia, and Elancer. I'm probably pronouncing those wrong, but yeah, these were actually sent to me for free by the developer, Orion, or Cedric is his actual name. I did a whole video on that. You can see gameplay and all that stuff, and I highly recommend checking it out, especially if you have a Jaguar CD. These are really, really cool. This one's like a puzzle game, and these two are point-and-click adventures, very similar to Myst. But again, did a video on that. You can check that out if you like. I also got this. Oh, an NES. That's so surprising. Well, it's not the NES itself that I got. It's what's inside right here. This is the Blinking Light Win. It's basically a replacement loading tray and 72-pin connector to make the NES basically 100% reliable all the time, which is totally awesome. Again, I did a video on this as well, so if you want to see the details, go for it. This was sent to me by Arcade Works, and again, that was really cool. They just sent that to me for review purposes, so thank you again to them. But I did actually buy some stuff. Now, I live in Chicago, Illinois, and every once in a while I work up in Madison, Wisconsin, which is about 2.5 hours away, which means I have a long drive. So occasionally I stop in a city called Rockford, Illinois. Not that often, but from time to time. And I decided to do it because I had a little bit extra time recently while I was up there. And I wanted to check out like the Best Buys, the Targets, you know, Walmart's, Toys R Us, etc., and see if I could find any clearance Wii U games, because Wii U games, man, going to be harder to get them, you know, later than they are now. So I wanted to get them while I can. So I picked this up at Walmart, obviously, because it's the Walmart version. This is the most expensive thing I picked up this month, and this was $10. Okay, I was trying to be as frugal as possible. I probably wouldn't even have bought it if it weren't for the fact that it was the Walmart version. But yeah, Assassin's Creed Black Flag. The other 3 I think I got at Best Buy, and there's a couple of bucks. These were all on clearance. Assassin's Creed 3, Just Dance Kids 2014. Obviously nothing special here, but you gotta buy the shit too if you're gonna go for a full set, which I might do. And Your Shape Fitness Evolve 2013. Again, same deal. Nothing particularly interesting, but yeah, it's gonna be cheaper to get them now than it will be later. While I was there, I also saw a bookstore. And it was like an outlet bookstore, which is kind of interesting because I'm always telling you guys bookstores are a good place to try and get video games, because bookstores a lot of times will not only take in books, but they'll also take in, you know, like knickknacks, you know, video games, obviously, movies, TV shows, what have you, toys sometimes. And so they don't always specialize in video games, so they just kind of have like a section, and you'll never know what you'll find there. It could be nothing but shit, or it could just be amazing stuff, and it's usually pretty cheap. Now, when I say bookstores, I don't mean like, you know, your Barnes and Nobles and stuff like that. I mean mom and pop stores generally. But yeah, so I was there and I picked up a bunch of sports games, which will be more interesting than it sounds. Give me a minute. I got NBA 2K7, NBA Inside Drive 2003, NBA Inside Drive 2004, NBA Jam, NBA Live 2005, NBA Live 06, NBA Live 07, and NBA Starting 5. Now, of course, these are all for the original Xbox. Now, I mostly got them because they were just kind of, well, I like basketball, but mostly I got them as cases, you know, replacement cases, you never know. They were all 50 cents a piece, which was, you know, of course, cool. But I don't know if this ever happens to you guys. Do you ever, like, go out and you see some games and you think, oh, maybe I'll get these, and you just start you start picking up ones that are interesting to you, but they're never quite enough to motivate you to actually bring them up to the register? That's what happened to me with these games. But then I did find one that totally motivated me. But we'll save that for the end. Before we get to that, though, I got this. I got a package. This was sent to me by a guy named Omar. Earlier this month, I did a live stream Q&A. Actually, by the time you're seeing this, I might have already done 2 of them. But in that first one, he commented, a bunch of people commented, and one of the questions I got was about a particular game and if I had ever played it. And I said no, I'd only played like little bits and pieces of it because I didn't own it. So Omar contacted me and he was like, hey, I got this game. I have multiple copies of this game. I don't need it. I'd be happy to send it to you. I said, like, no, you really don't have to do that. And he's like, no, seriously, it's not a big deal. It's just a couple of bucks to send it to you, so I'm going to do that. And I was like, all right, man, if you're sure. Sorry about the jump cut there. It's just, it was necessary. So let's go ahead and dump this out. Oh, and you can see the game there. See if there's anything. Oh, there's a letter. Let me make sure we take a look at that. Adam, you're awesome, brother. Huge fan, always will be. Hope you enjoy. Omar, nameless shout. Thank you again, Omar. It was really, really cool of you. But yes, here's the game. The Eco and the Shadow of Colossus collection for the PS3. Obviously, these were originally PS2 games, and they re-released them for the PlayStation 3 in high definition and bundled them together, which is supposed to be a really good collection because, of course, those are supposed to be really, really good games. So I'm really happy I finally get to get these and play them. And just thank you again, Omar. That was really, really cool of you to do that, which, of course, you didn't have to do. Now, there's something special about Omars this month, because this isn't the only Omar that contacted me. There was an Omar in Germany who contacted me saying, like, hey, you know, I have this PS2 European exclusive, would you like it? And I was like, man, you really don't have to do that, and especially with shipping over to the States and everything. And we got to talking, and it was agreed that he would actually ship it to my girlfriend who lives in Portugal, because for him it would be cheaper shipping, she would get the game, and you know, I'll show you, of course, here, you know. And I just want to say thank you, Omar. That was really cool of you to do that. And, of course, to this Omar, it was also really cool of you to do that. But I have to stress this enough, guys. You don't have to send me games. You certainly don't have to go above and beyond and send my girlfriend games. Like, that's really not necessary. No one has to do that. I certainly appreciate it. She appreciates it, but we've never asked for that. We would never ask for that. But nevertheless, thank you. Thank you. That means a lot to us, but you don't have to do that. But, yeah, still, thank you to both Omars. That's really, really cool of you guys. But now, finally, I want to show you guys the game that motivated me to pick all these up. Here it is. NCAA 2K3 College Basketball. And to first glance, you might be like, well, who gives a shit? It's just another stupid sports game. I don't care. I'm going to stop watching. Oh, hang on. This is pretty good. See, this game is probably the rarest GameCube game of all. And you might be like, what? How's that possible? It's a stupid, shitty sports game. Well, I have to make this very clear. This game was released on the PlayStation 2 and the original Xbox. But those versions are widespread, and they are totally worthless. The GameCube version, however, is extremely uncommon. And I guess the reason for that is that in 2003, Sega basically decided to stop making sports games for the GameCube, and I think EA did as well, actually, because sports games didn't sell for shit on the GameCube. So they basically canceled all future projects as far as sports titles go. But this one basically barely made it out the door. I've seen some estimates say that as few as 1,000 copies were ever released. Some people say 2,000. Either way, it's extraordinarily uncommon. And so my mind was fucking blown when I went to this bookstore and I was looking through all these, you know, just this labyrinthy maze of sports game shit, and then saw this, and I was just like, no fucking way. And I opened it up. It's complete. It was in perfect shape. Nothing wrong with the game at all. It was just like, holy crap. Because the only time I've ever seen this before was in Canada at a guy named Pete's house. He was a big-time collector. Full NES set, has a copy of Stadium Events, and he had this sitting next to Stadium Events, and I was just like, what's the deal with that? And he explained the whole story to me. It was just unreal that I actually found this game, especially in the wild, for 50 fucking cents! It was amazing. So let that be a lesson to you. Sports games. Sometimes it's worth looking at them. Things like Stadium Events, things like this, somehow it ends up being sports games that end up being the super valuable ones. And of course, it's also sports games that end up being the least valuable. But look at bookstores. Look at discount bookstores, man. I'm telling you, you can definitely find some treasure. And I'm so happy to find that, especially on an awesome, like, you know, super tiny budget that I had this month. So, all right, so that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you to both Omars. Thank you to Arcade Works. Thank you to Cedric. And thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all later.